Hey everybody, welcome to today's webinar, Heart Health. Before we do get started, just a couple of those normal items to take care of. We will have some time for questions at the end of the presentation, and you can type those into the question box in the lower portion of your control panel. We will be posting a recording of the webinar on our blog. That link will be shown at the end. And if you would like a PDF copy of the presentation and slides, there will be a link to download that on that same post as the recording, which should be posted within the next day or so. If your question does not get answered today, please email our support inbox, which will be shown at the end as well. Okay, here's what we're going to be chatting about today. First, we will cover ways for you to know where you are right now with your heart health based on those biometric screening results that you do with us. Then we will go into detail about foods, exercise, stress, sleep habits that you can start to create now that will help improve or maintain that beautiful heart of yours. Okay, over 600,000 Americans die every year from heart disease, and it is the #1 killer of women, killing more than all forms of cancer combined. It is a serious problem, but it's also something that is preventable in a lot of situations. So first, let's talk about figuring out where we are right now with our heart health. The next time you have a chance, or right now, if you're at your computer or you can pull up our app on your phone, take a look at your numbers. What do we screen that can indicate heart health? Well, pretty much all of those biometrics have some sort of connection with our heart health. Our weight and our body composition, specifically our waist measurement, can be indicators of a higher risk of heart disease. If we have more mass, it puts a higher strain on our heart, and studies have shown that carrying more weight around our midsection, that anatomical waist area around the belly button, puts us at a higher risk for heart disease. Blood pressure is another indicator of our heart health. The top number, the systolic, is the pressure when our heart is pumping. The bottom number, the diastolic, is the pressure at rest. If we have more pressure on our arteries, it makes sense. The more problems we will run across with our heart, right? Cholesterol is another one that we hear a lot about with regard to things like heart attacks. It makes sense. LDL, which is that bad cholesterol, is what can get caught up in our arteries. So if we have a lot in our blood, our risk is going to be greater. HDL, which is the good stuff, the healthy cholesterol, is what can help transport the LDL out of our body, so we want more of that. So if you don't have enough of that, something to pay attention to. Triglycerides, which is the fat that's in our blood that we use for energy, gets stored as fat in our bodies if we don't use it up. So again, you want that number to be low. If it's a little bit higher, you're going to have a higher risk for heart disease. All of these factors in our cholesterol play a role in how healthy our heart is. Blood sugar or glucose. The American Heart Association says that adults with diabetes are 2 to 4 times more likely to die from heart disease than those without diabetes. A lot of the reason is that there tends to be a trend in those with diabetes to have a higher weight and lifestyle trends like less activity levels, things like that. So it's not a guarantee, but there is a higher risk level there in general. The last general reading we have on our screenings that can indicate a risk for heart issues is nicotine. Smoking can damage our blood vessels, raise our blood pressure, and reduce the amount of oxygen that we carry in our blood. All things that don't help out the heart one bit. So these are just the biometric indicators for you to be aware of that we can look at as sort of your heart health scorecard to get you started. So how do we change these numbers? How do we get a better scorecard? Well, we look to lifestyle, right? Nutrition, exercise, stress, and sleep are the major focus areas of the webinar today and can all have a major influence on your heart health. So I'm going to start with nutrition. I have a lot of information. Hopefully it's all good stuff for you to start incorporating into your diet. There will be a lot of info on these slides, so just be sure you download them off the blog post that will be up in the next day so you don't have to feverishly write everything down. I know there's a lot of info on these. But let's get started. First is leafy greens and veggies. Things like spinach, kale, collard greens, broccoli, cauliflower. Those are great foods to add to your diet for heart health. Fiber and vitamin K are just some of the benefits that really help the heart. Fiber can help improve cholesterol, blood pressure, and inflammation in our body, as well as help control blood sugar levels. Vitamin K plays a role in making blood clotting proteins and possibly helps prevent calcification or the hardening of our arteries. Smoothies, salads are a great way to get in these types of foods. You can also chop them up and add them to casseroles and soups. So lots of options with those green veggies and leafy greens. Next is berries. Blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, and strawberries are going to be the best options for your heart health as far as the berries. That's most of them, I think. This is because they have antioxidant properties. Antioxidants can slow down or prevent damage to cells caused by free radicals, which are just unstable molecules that the body produces either as we process certain foods and react to environmental factors. If our body doesn't get rid of those free radicals, they can cause issues like heart disease, among a lot of others. These are usually easy, the berries are usually easy to eat raw as a snack, but you can also throw them in your smoothies as well with those leafy greens to get more of a sweeter flavor. There's so many recipes out there for great smoothies that you can get both of these things in really easily. Avocados are next. This has been a very popular food for a few years now, and for good reason. It's easy to eat. You can throw it on a salad, use it as a spread, or just eat it as a filling snack. The heart benefits with avocados include monounsaturated fats and potassium. Monounsaturated fats can help keep your LDL low, and potassium has a role in blood pressure, and it also plays a role in actually triggering your heart to beat. That's pretty important to heart health, I'd say. So very important stuff, and avocados are a superfood for a good reason. All right, fatty fish, salmon, tuna, sardines, mackerel are options to get in omega-3 fatty acids, which are shown to have great heart benefits. You can mix up these protein choices with other things that you do. I'm not saying have fish all the time, every day, but it's a really, really good option to mix up some of those protein choices. Tuna is especially convenient as you can just buy those pouches that are very cheap, and they actually make salmon pouches now too. They don't need to be refrigerated. You can keep them at your desk like some of our coaches do, and you can throw it on a salad or even eat it plain as a quick healthy snack. Sardines are one of those foods that has a bad reputation, but I promise if you do a quick internet search, you can find lots of ways to use them. So those are some more foods just to keep in mind with those good omega-3 fatty acids. Nuts are next. Most nuts are going to be beneficial as long as you don't have a bunch of oils and things added. So read the labels. If you're purchasing nuts, raw is going to be the best option. But I'm going to give you a few specific nuts that are good for your heart today. Walnuts, almonds, cashews, and Brazil nuts have those healthy monounsaturated fats and fiber, which we already talked about the benefits of. Another benefit these nuts have is magnesium. Every cell in our body needs magnesium, but here's a great way that it helps our heart specifically. A study in the journal called Circulation found that magnesium enables heart disease patients to exercise longer, and it appeared to protect their hearts from the stress of exercise. Pretty cool benefit, and if it helps people that already have heart disease, it's going to help prevent it too, right? Copper is another benefit that can help regulate heart rate and blood pressure. And lastly, manganese. Manganese is part of an antioxidant in your body, and we've already touched on those benefits. So all good stuff with some of these nuts, and that's a really, really easy snack option as well. All right, last food on this page, whole grains. This can be a big topic, but I'm going to narrow it down a little bit. First off, if you're looking at a label with something that says contains whole grains, things like that, be sure you read the ingredient list and make sure it says 100% whole grain or 100% whole wheat. Be really careful because there's a lot of ways they kind of try to trick you with that. The reason you need to do this is that heart healthy benefits come from the fact that whole grains include all three parts of the grain, the germ, the endosperm, and the bran. So things like oats, quinoa, rye, and barley are examples of whole grains. The main benefit that helps the heart with whole grains is going to be that fiber. We talked about how fiber can help improve cholesterol, blood pressure, and inflammation, as well as help control blood sugar levels. And grains are a really big source of fiber. Whole grains, that is. Serving sizes sometimes can get away from us with whole grains, which is why we have a lot of conversations with people about cutting down on whole grains sometimes. But they're super beneficial. So just be mindful of that when figuring out how to add these to your diet. Examples to use: steel-cut oats mixed with fruit or natural peanut butter for your breakfast or lunch even, quinoa instead of rice, adding barley to your soup, subbing some rye flour for wheat flour are a few ways to get in this heart-healthy foods with whole grains in them. Again, there's lots more. I'm just giving you a few examples today. Okay, let's keep moving here. Beans and legumes. Fiber, manganese, copper, and magnesium. We already talked about those and their benefits. Beans and legumes have those in there. Folate is another benefit of these foods. Folate, which is the naturally occurring form of vitamin B9, can help lower your levels of what is called homocysteine, which has been associated with increased risk of heart disease. And thiamine, or vitamin B1, which helps prevent complications in the heart, among other areas of the body. These foods are a great source of protein as well and make for a filling addition to your meal. Hummus is a common way to get in those chickpeas, and adding the other beans to soups. You can make burgers. Those are a couple more good options to rotate these healthy things into your weekly plan as well. All right, let's throw in a veggie, or is it a fruit? Tomatoes. Tomatoes have lycopene in them, which is an antioxidant. You can make your own tomato sauce. It doesn't have the added sugar. You can eat them raw like I love to do. Grape tomatoes are amazing. Or throw them on your salad or on a sandwich, and you have a great tasty addition that helps that heart stay strong. Seeds are next. Chia and flaxseed are what I'm going to focus on for that heart health. They have fiber. They have omega-3s in abundance. Easy ways to sneak some of these in are adding them to things like yogurt, those smoothies again, even like the casseroles, like I mentioned before with some of the other things. A lot of these don't have a lot of taste to them, so you can mix them in with things that you're already eating. They can just boost up that heart health a little bit. All right, let's move on to olive oil. Here again, we have our monounsaturated fats and antioxidants. One word that I should probably be using more, I've already said it a couple times, but when it comes to heart health, the word inflammation is really important, and your overall health as well. Inflammation in our body is the cause of a lot of conditions and illnesses. It's the body's immune response, but it can be confused by things like sugar in our bodies, which can cause that response as well. So things like healthy fats and antioxidants are in things like olive oil help lower that inflammation in our bodies. Olive oil specifically is really good drizzled over veggies, which you can roast in your oven or on the grill. You can make your own salad dressings with an olive oil base and make it a whole lot healthier. I put a really easy base on here. It's just the 3 tablespoons of EVOO or extra virgin olive oil, tablespoon of vinegar, pinch of salt and pepper, and then other herbs that you like, garlic, red pepper, really kind of whatever you want to flavor it up. But this is a really easy base to use instead of getting those sugar-filled or even the creamier dressings that you can have on your salad. All right, next is green tea. This has antioxidant properties, specifically called polyphenols and catechins, that help protect our body and our heart and can help lower cholesterol. One note to be aware of if you choose a caffeinated option with something like green tea is it can temporarily raise your blood pressure. Now, for the average person, this isn't going to be a big deal. The blood pressure is going to lower after a little bit. But if you have blood pressure concerns already, or any history of any issues, you may still want to be mindful of this and just choose the decaffeinated option. You're still going to get those good benefits in there. Okay, last bit on nutrition, and then we'll move on here. Pomegranate and citrus fruits, things like lemon, orange, grapefruit. These foods have antioxidants and also vitamin C, which most of us have heard of before. Vitamin C helps our heart specifically by helping blood vessels to relax and can help keep arteries flexible. So grab some of these. These are easy snack and you're good to go. A couple things to add to your food are next. Garlic is one. Garlic can help blood pressure and cholesterol in some people, and they also contain some antioxidants. Allicin is the compound produced when garlic is crushed or chopped, and is thought to be the key component for health benefits of the garlic. And garlic is super easy to add. You can flavor up any dish, soups, casseroles, burgers, chicken, things like that. A lot of people love our garlic already, so keep adding it to those foods. Turmeric is next. This is a spice that has been shown to have many anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. It's most commonly going to be found in things like curry or other Indian dishes, but it has become more popular in the U.S. recently as well, mostly due to those health benefits that we are hearing more and more about. A couple ways to use this: add it to your eggs. That's actually a really easy, good option. Toss it in with your veggies, add it to your soups and your smoothies. Now this one's going to be a little bit more of a flavorful one, so you're going to want to be careful. Don't add too much. Don't go dumping it in there right away. One thing to keep in mind too with turmeric is that to get the benefits of it, you should really pair it with black pepper. What this does is it makes it more bioavailable, meaning that your body can actually absorb it and actually use it and reap the benefits. Now, some people will just add the black pepper right away to their jar and kind of mix it in when you first get your turmeric. The suggestion is to add about half of a teaspoon of ground pepper to every 1/4 of a cup of turmeric. So just a little side note there with bioavailability. Okay, what about wine? We've all heard a glass of red wine is good for our heart, right? The reasoning behind this is that wine contains resveratrol, which is a polyphenol and antioxidant. This is in the skin of the grapes, which is why red wine is thought to be more beneficial since it's made with the skins on. But actually eating grapes may give you similar benefits, so that's one way to go instead. The key point with wine is that yes, there may be something to drinking 1 glass a day, but a lot of people don't stop there necessarily, and more than that puts you at a risk for the negatives that can affect your triglycerides and lead to heart issues, which is kind of the opposite of what our goal is for this today. So the recommendation is that if you already drink red wine in the recommended amounts, you may have some benefits, but don't start drinking it just for those reasons. There are plenty of other foods and things to add to your diet that I've shown you already that will give you similar, if not better, benefits. So on a similar note, before I move on, just a quick note on supplements. In some cases, these can give you similar benefits to foods, but there are so many things to think about, like quality of the supplement, its bioavailability, which can be very, very different than food sources. So I really just recommend talking to your doctor if you feel like you need to supplement for certain things. Otherwise, just try to focus on the foods that contain heart-healthy things. You'll typically get other benefits along with that as well. So something to keep in mind there. Okay, now don't tell me that you don't have any things to eat now, because I just gave you a ton of options. I probably overwhelmed you with options, and this isn't even the entire list. But do some research again, talk with your doctor, see what else you can do to add to your diet to keep that heart healthy. We are going to move on to exercise now. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here because most people understand the benefits of exercise on our heart. It's a muscle like any of our other muscles. You need to work it so it gets stronger. I'm going to break it down into the 3 typical exercise categories here. First is the aerobic, or cardio is another term for it. This is simply increasing your heart rate. Aerobic exercise improves your circulation, which can help lower blood pressure. It also helps increase your cardiac output, which is how well your heart pumps, how strong it pumps. More blood pumped out means more oxygen to our body, more oxygen to our muscles, all good things. It also helps control blood sugar levels, which we now know is correlated with heart disease. So how much exercise do you need for heart health? 150 minutes of moderate activity each week. Moderate means things like a brisk walk, running, swimming, cycling, sports like basketball or tennis, exercise classes like Zumba, just to name a few. Remember, those 150 minutes per week can be broken up into what's convenient for you. You can do 15, 20 minutes here or there. The goal is just to get that heart rate elevated for 150 minutes every week, specifically for heart health. I'm talking here, not weight loss, heart health. Okay. We know cardio is great for the heart. How does strength or resistance training help? Resistance training is anything that adds resistance to a movement. The best way strength training helps our heart is that it actually helps with our body composition. It can help add lean mass while lowering body fat, specifically at the waist, which we know is an indicator of the heart health, as I mentioned. Some research shows that a combination of that aerobic and strength training can help increase the HDL and lower the LDL. Makes sense with everything I've said, right? So how much of this do I need for heart health benefits? Minimum 2 days a week for strength training. And this can be before or after your cardio session too. You don't have to make a whole separate trip to your living room or the gym, wherever you do your exercise. And you don't need a lot of time. The goal here is to have exercises for all your major muscle groups. Some people like to split up upper body and lower body on different days. That's fine too. The goal is to increase that lean mass, which is where we get those benefits to our heart. So different options for strength training include things like weights, dumbbells, hand weights, soup cans if you don't have anything at home. Whatever makes you have to work harder against gravity. That's the goal. That's how you strengthen your muscles. Make it a little harder to move. Resistance bands like the ones shown on here are a really good portable option as well. If you travel a lot for your job, throw those in your suitcase, and you can do those in your hotel room. You can head to the gym and use weight machines that can help you with proper form, or you can use your own body, push-ups, squats, pull-ups, all use your body to increase that resistance to your muscles. Last area of exercise, flexibility, stretching, and balance. Directly, these types of activities can be great for stress management, which helps the blood pressure and that fight or flight response that I'm actually going to be talking here in a minute with the stress section. Indirectly, these workouts help us stay flexible, keep our joints moving and free from pain, help prevent cramping and other issues that can prevent us from doing those other exercises like cardio and strength. So it all works together to help the heart. How often should you be stretching and working on balance? Really every day if possible, but also just along with your regular exercise. Stretching after your workout, some people stretch after their warm-up, whatever you prefer, but it can prevent soreness, which can be a big mental barrier too to continuing with regular exercise. Examples of specific workouts that are focused on flexibility and balance are going to be things like yoga and Tai Chi. Otherwise, you can simply do total body stretching with your workouts, making sure you're hitting all of your muscles. A trainer at a gym is a good option if you have that option. Otherwise, your doctor, things like that, can point you to other resources if you really aren't sure where to start. Health coach is always a good option too, so give us a call as well. And as always with any of these exercises, make sure you consult your doctor before starting any new routine. Okay, stress. How does stress affect our heart specifically? Directly, as I already mentioned, we get a physical response called fight or flight. Any stressful situation causes our body to increase our breathing, increase our heart rate, increase our blood pressure, among other things. Now, this is an automatic response, and it can be very helpful when we're physically in danger. But what happens now is that we get stressed by non-physical things like deadlines and traffic, things like that. But our body reacts the same way as if we were running from a stranger or something. These stressors happen to us most of the day, so what happens is our body is constantly in that fight or flight mode, which is terrible for our heart health. Indirectly, stress causes us to have poor habits when it comes to eating, exercise, and sleep, right? We've all been there. We're stressed. We don't make great decisions. It happens. So we need to change that underlying issue. What can we do to combat stress and to help our heart? First, figure out your stressors and then decide if you can change them or not. Are they in your control or out of your control? Can you change something to avoid that stressor? If so, fantastic. Do it. Change it. If you cannot avoid the stressor, which is a lot of our stressors, you need to first accept it. Stress is part of our daily lives. There's no getting around it, and actually can be beneficial in some ways. But if you cannot control that stressor, you have to change your reaction to it. I'm not saying this is easy by any means, but with practice, it absolutely can be done. You can use other tools to help use positive thoughts to outweigh those negative influences. One way to do this is to practice gratitude. It's so easy to focus on the negative, and our brains are wired to do that in some sense. But taking some time to focus on what we're grateful for can make a huge difference in how we see and react to our stressors. You can take gratitude walks to focus on things that are positive in your life, or you can do it during your commute in the mornings and evenings to help turn what could be a stressful event into a more useful and valuable time. Having a paper or electronic gratitude journal is a physical way to practice gratefulness for what we have, but just make it a goal to either think or write down things you're grateful for every day. It does help with that stress. And then how about exercise? We all know now that exercise is great for our heart, but it can be a fantastic stress reliever as well. Win-win, right? Find some time in your schedule for a walk, maybe at lunch or on your break, just to break up your day with some physical and mental relaxation. Next step for stress relief is breathing, specifically deep breathing. When we're stressed, we typically do the opposite of deep breathing. Our breath usually comes out quicker or shallower, giving us not a calming effect. We're fully in that fight or flight response. So you can take 1 minute, you can take 30 seconds to focus on that breathing, and that will help your body physically calm down. You can just sit up, put your hand on your belly, slowly inhale through your nose, feeling that breath raise in your belly and fill your body, and then you exhale through your mouth. Again, do this for as long as you need. It could just be a couple breaths. It could be a full 2 to 3 minutes. Meditation also goes along with deep breathing, and it really can't be underestimated when it comes to the value of your mental health. Meditation are things like simply listening to music and focusing on your breathing and just being in the present. You can also do a guided meditation where someone gives you direction on where to focus your thoughts and gives you a positive message. There are some excellent apps out there. If you have a smartphone, we have some great blog posts and a great webinar on our blog too, so check that out as well if you're not familiar with meditation or if you're looking for a place to get started. The last tip I have on stress is to create a stress relief toolbox for yourself. This isn't as complicated as it seems. All I want you to do is make a list of some healthy ways to relax and de-stress for you specifically. You can make it as long as you want, and you can include sub-lists for work, home, car, wherever you're at. Examples: going for a walk, calling a friend, playing with your kids, listening to music, reading, doing that gratitude journal. Whatever it is that makes your heart happy, you should strive to do at least one of these things every single day, even if you don't feel stressed. Taking some time to make sure you are relaxing and having some quality time with that feel-good activity is going to help you deal with stress you already have, and it's also going to help you handle the stressors that you aren't anticipating coming in the future. So again, stress is a huge topic. We have whole webinars on it, so make sure you check those out on our blog as well. Last topic for today, another huge topic, but I'm going to put it in one slide, so I know I'm not doing it justice, but sleep. How does sleep affect our heart specifically? A study actually I saw last week showed that those who slept less than 6 hours a night were 27% more likely to have what's called subclinical atherosclerosis, which is an early stage hardening and narrowing of our arteries. That's not what we want. Also, those that slept less than 7 hours per night still had an increased risk for heart disease, regardless of age, weight, smoking status, and exercise. So 7 to 9 hours is the recommended amount of sleep each night. Sleep is so important. It sets the tone for our entire day, every single day. So I know this is hard for some of you, but here's some quick tips to hopefully get you closer to that 7 to 9 quality hours of sleep. First, create a routine. If you can go to sleep and wake up at the same time, that's great, but I know that's not always possible. So if you have a similar routine before you go to bed, no matter what time it is, you may be able to shift the time and still get to sleep quickly. Unplugging from electronics, listening to music, reading, taking a bath, doing some of that deep breathing or meditation are some options to use in that routine. Anything that relaxes you, really. So start with as much time as you can before bed and just create that routine accordingly. Then we have to talk about environment. Mattress, sheets, pillows are a massive plus when it comes to your sleep quality. Sleep.org has some great tips on softness, materials, and other things that you should be on the lookout for, depending on your sleep position. So there's different things depending on how you sleep that they recommend. So take a look at that site. Sleep.org is what that is. And then temperature. Generally, it's suggested to keep your temperature of your bedroom between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Noise. Your brain continues to register sounds when you're sleeping, so it makes sense that noise can affect our sleep, right? You can try earplugs or white noise machines. White noise works because it reduces the difference between background noise and what is called peak noise, like a car slamming, a dog barking, things like that can interrupt your sleep. Light, a couple different kinds here. You should strive to keep your room as dark as you possibly can. Blackout curtains are a good option. Try not to have night lights or lights coming from hallways, or else you can situate your bed so you're facing away from those light sources if you have to have them on. That other kind of light is technology. We all know this. Blue light is the light that comes from our devices like TVs, computers, tablets, phones. Technology in the hour before bedtime can delay the production of melatonin, which is the hormone that helps us sleep. So the dream goal would be to not have any tech in front of you the hour before bedtime. If you can't make this goal right away, just do the best that you can to have it as far away, even if it's 15 minutes. And if you go to 20 minutes, it's going to help our body not be interrupted with that melatonin, and it's going to help you sleep better. All right, guys, I threw a lot of information at you today, but bottom line, heart health is something we need to be thinking about every day. And there's, as you can see here, there's a ton of ways that you can incorporate things into your life that help the heart. Take some time today, see what you can do now so you don't have to worry about your heart later. All right, next month, let's go through the topics before we get questions here. Next month, hot topics. We got some great suggestions last month on things that you want to hear about as far as questions, things like that. So feel free to either respond on here right now in the question box with different options. You can email us. I'll put that email on the next slide here. We want to know what you guys want to talk about. We'll split it up. We'll answer as many questions as we can next month. And then April is financial wellness. It's a little bit of a change for us, but even your money needs to be healthy, right? Same thing. If you have specific questions on financial wellness, you can submit those. We're going to have some expert advice that we're going to bring in to answer some of your questions. And then here's our contact information. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. There's our blog that's going to have all of the webinars from our past, and it's going to have links to the recording for today and downloading the slides, all that good stuff. We're on Instagram, and then you can give us a call if you want to set up a chat with the health coach. Phone number's there, and then that's the email address, healthcoach@healthcheck360.com. If you have additional questions, if you have to take off now, because I know I'm close on time, I'm over time actually, so I will stick around a few minutes here.